On a snowy night, Officer discovered a boy selling his puppy. What happened next was inspiring. Officer Michael Reyes trudged through the snow-clad streets of Willow Creek, the frigid air biting at his cheeks. With Christmas only days away, an unusual weight settled on his shoulders, an unshakable burden of despair lurking just beneath the surface of his dedicated exterior. Between mounting mortgage payments and his children's eager holiday wishes, each step felt heavier, more cumbersome. He longed to provide a firm foundation, but the cracks were deepening. Here he was, a protector of the peace, yet he felt increasingly shackled by his own financial demons. Just then, his radio buzzed to life, the words "suspicious child" echoing like an unwelcome refrain. A sinister reminder that the world never sleeps, especially for those on the fringes of society. His heart raced, muscles tense with the apprehensive anticipation. What kind of situation awaited him? Each encounter bore the potential to unearth hard truths, and this was no exception. He drove through the snow-slicked streets, his mind racing with doubt, the swirling flurries outside somehow matching the chaos within. As he arrived at the scene, he noticed a boy standing alone, bundled in a tattered coat. The child held a shivering puppy in his arms, each breath of the small creature visible in the cold air. Officer Reyes's heart sank. 12-year-old Sam's voice trembled as he disclosed the tear-jerking reason behind his heartbreaking act, selling his beloved dog, not for insidious gain, but to help his single mother make rent. Suddenly, all Reyes could think of was the loyal dog of his own childhood, one that had taught him the meaning of unconditional love and companionship. A sense of anguish washed over him. This boy stood before him, an emblem of sacrifice at his tender age, a mirror to society's relentless struggles that haunted him nightly. The disparity between the boy's intentions and his own previous biases struck a nerve. Officer Reyes felt conflicted. Should he call for backup, or could he resist the urge to judge? Here was Sam's sheer will, a quiet defiance against his circumstances, igniting an exhausting fire within Reyes. Instead of indifference, he felt a spark of compassion flicker in his chest. A desperate need to protect this child and his dog, futile though it may be. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the silence that followed, he felt the burden of his own financial struggle weighing against the boy's desperate pride. Could he truly make a difference in a world that seemed increasingly unyielding? When Sam's mother got wind of his intentions, she cast a shadow over the budding hope with her anger, speaking of pride and desperation that gripped them both tightly. Each word was another thread tightening Reyes's chest. He thought of his own responsibilities, his ambivalence to help without creating further strain. Could he bridge the chasm between support and self-interest, or was his profession only a mask for his own failed promises? As the scene played out, Reyes was consumed by a spiraling question. Was he doing enough, at work, at home, or as an officer of the law? The nagging echo of his mortgage payments loomed in the back of his mind, sharper than the chill of the night air. Suddenly, his phone rang, jolting him from his thoughts. Standing at the crossroads, he looked at Sam, then the boy's puppy, feeling a crack form in the frigid reality around him. What awaited him on the other end of that line could change everything. Would he find the resolve to confront deeper issues looming in both their lives, or would fear keep him silent? Reyes answered the call, each ring intensifying the whirlwind in his mind. The voice on the other end belonged to his partner, Officer Malik, who was looking for updates on the incident. But the words were a blur, overshadowed by a sudden realization. He could no longer ignore the struggles that bound him and those around him. "Michael, you there?" Malik's voice broke through, drawing him back. Reyes realized he hadn't responded. "Are you okay?" "Yeah," he said hastily, but the uncertainty lingered. He couldn't shake the weight of Sam's predicament. Just a lot going on. As the conversation shifted to routine matters, Reyes's heart raced with the memories of his own childhood. His family had faced hardships too. The echoes of his own youthful sacrifices resonated sharply. Yet his upbringing had given him tools, love, community, and support. Could he in turn offer something similar to Sam today? "Hey Malik, I need a minute," he interrupted, disconnecting quickly to regain composure. The world outside felt so distant now, replaced by the immediate urgency of the situation confronting him. The icy air, the falling snow, even the puppy's soft whimpers became background noise as he refocused. He scrutinized Sam's face, the boy's expressive eyes revealing a maturity that belied his age. That flicker of desperation, a mirror reflecting the financial suffocation he himself felt, compelled Reyes to act. But could he affirm his position as an officer while stepping into a role that transcended simple duty? "Sam," he began, crouching to meet the boy's gaze directly. "I understand why you're doing this." The boy nodded, a flicker of hope breaking through the sorrow. Reyes took a breath, grappling with what words to choose. "But I also know there are options, ways we can handle things." Sam's brow furrowed with skepticism, a tendril of mistrust woven into his experience. Reyes noted this, recognizing that trust would not be easily won. Each moment stretched uncomfortably as he weighed his words. "How about we go find your mom?" The suggestion hung in the air, heavy with implications. Would this gesture feel like betrayal to Sam, or a lifeline? Inwardly, Reyes was a tumult of doubt. He envisioned his own children, and the weight of their holiday desires, clashing with the reality of this boy's and his mother's struggles. They deserved relief, but could he afford to offer any without an ulterior motive? Sam looked away, deep in thought. "She's gonna be mad," he muttered. "Maybe," Reyes acknowledged. "But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. Maybe there's a way we can help each other." A flicker of doubt crossed Sam's face. Reyes could see the subtle battle between hope and fear, and it mirrored his own inner turmoil. He sensed that the boy was grappling with a choice too, to trust a stranger, or to remain anchored in the weight of his circumstances. With sudden resolve, Reyes took a step back. "You don't have to decide right now, Sam, but I'm here, and I want to listen." Reyes's own breath caught as the words settled. This was a crossroads for both of them. He was no longer just an officer performing his duty. He was a man confronted with the reality of empathy and the responsibility that came with it. The warmth of the moment contrasted sharply with the icy grip of his financial worries. As he noticed the boy finally meet his gaze, the shadows of doubt began to lift. In this moment, Reyes felt profound clarity, the need to elevate individual struggles over personal fears. He was ready to embrace change, not just for himself, but for Sam, too. But what he didn't know was how deep the rabbit hole of sacrifice and accountability would lead them both. Just then, Reyes's phone buzzed again, interrupting his thoughts again. It was a text from Malik that read, "Do you need backup? Something's come up." The urgency of the message cut sharply through the moment. Now Reyes was left with a choice: pursue this connection with Sam despite the uncertainty looming over him, or retreat back into the comforting realms of duty and protocol. The air crackled with intensity. The decision loomed large, and with it, the potential for something transformative. As Reyes stared down at Sam, his heart drummed a discordant rhythm, pulsing uncertainty through his veins. Every instinct urged him to prioritize his duty, to respond to Malik, tackle the rising crisis, and ensure order in an unpredictable world. Yet it was in that vulnerable moment with Sam that a different call beckoned. It was a call to work against the very instinct that defined his role as an officer. "Listen, Sam," he said, feeling the weight of his words. "I know this isn't easy, but I'd like to help you. What do you think we should do next?" Sam bit his lip, his small hands fidgeting with the collar of the puppy, a gesture of uncertainty that Reyes recognized well. Reyes found himself wondering how often he had faced similar situations in his own life, caught between fear and the faint glimmer of hope. That shared human experience fueled his determination to guide Sam, maybe even to save himself in the process. After an awkward pause, Sam looked straight into his eyes. "Living with my mom gets tough sometimes. She gets mad a lot. But I can't just let this go, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. That admission was heavy with layers of complexity, the familiar ache of desperation, youthful pride mingling with fragility. Reyes clenched his jaw, struggling to articulate a response that wouldn't reinforce the boy's doubts. "Let me tell you about my childhood," he began, feeling vulnerable as he crossed an invisible boundary from authority to ally. "I had to work hard, too. I remember times when money was tight and things felt overwhelming. My parents tried to give me everything, but somehow, that felt like too much sometimes." As the words spilled out, he realized he was not only sharing a story, but trying to create a bridge. The truth was, if he didn't offer himself wholeheartedly, how could Sam trust him? "I wanted to make it better, to protect my family. But I learned something important. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong." He let the sincerity of his message sink in, searching Sam's expression for understanding. The boy's gaze softened, and for a fleeting moment, there was a flicker of shared understanding. Maybe he wasn't alone, not in this very challenging experience. "But how do I tell her?" Sam asked, eyes wide and uncertain. Reyes knelt lower, mirroring the boy's fearlessness with his sincerity. "We can figure it out together. I can come with you. You don't have to face this alone." An internal push and pull enveloped Reyes as he considered the weight of his proposal. Could he genuinely extend his support without compromising his role? In that instant, the phone buzzed again, a fierce reminder of duties that beckoned. Yet the urgency of his response to Malik now paled in comparison to the implications of what lay before him. "What happens if she decides not to listen?" Sam asked, voice trembling. Reyes gave the boy an affirmative nod, recognizing that this moment contained not only consequence, but potential. "Then we'll deal with it when it comes. But first, let's just try to talk to her. You get to choose how to handle this." There was something powerful in that small exchange. Two individuals connected through the cords of experience, trying to rewrite their narratives. Reyes felt renewed vitality racing through him, prompting a reevaluation of his own struggles and decisions. As Reyes prepared to guide Sam, he found himself reflecting on the broader spectrum of what it meant to be both an officer and a human being with his own burdens. The intersection of his authority and empathy ignited a spark of innovation within him, a chance to blend the roles he had been assigned and the ones he longed to embrace. Just as he took a step towards action, Reyes's phone buzzed one last time, telling him that their current troubles were escalating rapidly. It was Malik again, this time with a sense of urgency that could not be ignored. The message read, "Need you on site now. Bad situation unfolding." This was it. The choice loomed ever larger. To honor this journey with Sam, or to adhere to the call of duty that demanded his immediate attention. A moment of clarity pierced through the storm of Reyes's thoughts. The crossroads was not just about duty. It was about redefining what it truly meant to be a guardian, not just of the community, but also of the vulnerable souls that existed within it. As he glanced at Sam, who was clutching the puppy tightly, a new wave of resolve flashed through his mind. The real challenge lay ahead, where the choices they would make could either deepen their shared bond or tear it apart, forcing Reyes to confront the very reason he chose this path in the first place. To serve and protect not just the law, but the fabric of humanity itself. Before he could finalize his decision, Sam's hopeful gaze beseeched him to take the leap. Reyes inhaled deeply, preparing for the weight of the world that hung in the balance. Would he veer into the chaotic unknown on Sam's behalf, or succumb to the demands of his badge? As the tension reached its precipice, a new inquiry formed in his mind. What was he ready to sacrifice to embrace what lay ahead? Reyes felt the weight of time suspend around him as he stood at the crossroads, wrestling with his decision. Sam's eyes were wide, filled with a mix of hope and vulnerability, pulling him away from the drumming chaos in his mind. What was more important, the pressing crisis involving Malik or this fragile connection he was building with a boy who needed him? He took a step back, scanning the quiet park where the two of them stood, a universe of obstacles yet to be confronted. For that very moment, it felt as if the world outside faded. Instead, he focused on Sam. Noticing the slight tremor in the boy's hands as he clutched the puppy, it mirrored his own internal conflict with alarming accuracy. "Let's find your mom," he urged, feeling a surge of unexpected determination rise within him. Reyes wasn't quite sure where that surge was stemming from, but it felt invigorating, as if a new part of him had reawakened. Perhaps it was the desire to reframe what it meant to be an officer. Not just enforcer of the law, but a protector in the truest sense. Sam nodded anxiously, though the tension never fully left his frame. Reyes guided him, sensing the trajectory of courage shifting slightly, even if it was just for a moment. They walked together, stepping into a larger arena of their respective struggles. Each step brought Reyes closer to embracing vulnerability, the kind that he often shielded himself from in his line of duty. As they neared a modest apartment building, Reyes's phone vibrated in his pocket once more. Another urgent plea from Malik. The noise seemed to amplify the stakes of his decision. He hesitated and reflected on the uncomfortable sensation of the badge weighing on his chest. Would choosing to guide Sam signify a failure in his professional obligations? Or was this precisely what was required to redefine his role? His internal dialogue unraveled in rapid succession. How could he help navigate Sam's family dynamics if he didn't confront his own relationship with authority and compassion? Was this moment not a chance to reclaim his sense of purpose, to intertwine his badge with the threads of understanding? With a newfound resolve, he glanced at Sam, who was momentarily lost in thought, staring blankly ahead. "Sam," he said softly, grounding the boy's wandering mind. "Just remember, this is your voice we are amplifying. It's your story to tell. I'm just here to support you." The boy turned to meet Reyes's gaze. "You really mean it?" The disbelief was palpable in each syllable. "Absolutely," Reyes affirmed. The sincerity of his voice came from a deeper understanding of what was at stake, not just in Sam's life, but also within his own. They reached the front door, and Reyes felt an electric jolt of possibility coursing through him. Each moment they spent together furrowed deeper layers of connection and self-awareness. But as they stood on the threshold, Reyes felt the pull of duty, the relentless reminder of what awaited him with Malik. "Are you ready?" Reyes asked. Sam nodded, and with a deep breath Reyes pushed the door open, allowing the weight of their shared experience to merge into action. They were moving as allies. The sidewalk outside had vanished into the backdrop of a more profound mission. As they stepped inside, Reyes felt that he was navigating not only the precarious landscape of family dynamics, but also charting the unknown territory of his emotional landscape. The walls around them echoed with the haunting silence of potential confrontation, far removed from the external chaos of sirens and alarms outside. Reyes turned to Sam once more. "We'll find your mom together, no matter what," he said, feeling the gravity of both of their choices tether them in this moment of reckoning. Just as he embraced the uncertainty of their intentions, his phone rang insistently, a reminder of the rising chaos outside. Malik's voice crackled urgently through the speaker, breaking through Reyes's internal dialogue. "Reyes, we're losing control over at Granger Park. You need to get here now. It's bad." In that moment, Reyes faced an unsettling choice. Could he prioritize this tender but fraught mission with Sam, while the world outside demanded his presence? The consequences of his next move loomed heavy, testing the depth of his commitment to both his badge and what it meant to stand by those in need. The tension within him escalated, and he realized that the journey ahead demanded not only inner strength, but a willingness to embody the very essence of hope. A complex puzzle that would either ignite his purpose or unravel the fragile weave of connection he was beginning to forge. What if, after all this, he found a way to bridge both worlds? The question lingered as they moved deeper into the house, stepping into the unknown. Inside the dimly lit apartment, the air was thick with uncertainty. Sam shivered slightly as they crossed the threshold, the fight against adversity palpable in the silence that enveloped them. Reyes took a moment to adjust, feeling the weight of the space pressing down on him, reminding him of all he had chosen to step into. The faint sounds of a television flickered in the background, an oddly comforting reminder of life persisting amid struggle. Before Reyes could process what lay ahead, he watched Sam's youthful face morph from anxiety to a resolute determination. The boy moved forward, his small frame moving through the hallway as if magnetized by the urgent need to find his mother. Reyes stepped in closely behind, feeling an instinctual urge to protect and guide, but also a profound need to let Sam take the lead in this intimate moment of vulnerability. "Do you think she'll be happy to see me?" Sam's voice wavered, threaded with a fragility that gripped Reyes. It was a question steeped in raw emotion, and it struck him as both profoundly innocent and devastatingly real. This boy carried the burden of a fractured family, and it pricked at Reyes' own insecurities as he resonated with Sam's pain. "Of course she will, Sam. You're her son," Reyes said, his careful tone reflecting a conscious effort to maintain the boy's hope. But uncertainty pooled in his stomach. Would she truly embrace him? Each heartbeat intensified as they approached a door that felt like a portal into a life filled with struggle and, perhaps, rejection. Sam paused, his hesitance now mixed with fear. Reyes placed a soothing hand on his shoulder, grounding him with a gentle squeeze, a conscious choice to transmit strength when both of them might need it. "You're not alone in this," he reminded the boy, almost whispering, as his own resolve teetered on the edge. "Okay, together, right?" Sam replied, his eyes searching Reyes's for affirmation. "Together," Reyes echoed, surprised at how his chest felt lighter at that moment. The world outside, with its chaos and loud demands, receded just a little as their shared purpose united them in that instant. With a quick exhale, Sam knocked on the door, and the sound echoed like thunder in the quiet space. Reyes's heart raced beneath his uniform, and he felt a rare spark of excitement and dread coil together. As the door creaked open, revealing a woman whose weary eyes reflected both joy and trepidation, Reyes knew this was a pivotal moment, not just for Sam, but for him as well. "Mom!" Sam exclaimed, and Reyes watched as the pure, unfiltered love poured out as the young boy threw himself into his mother's embrace. It was an emotional collision, one that shattered the silence and spilled warmth throughout the room. Yet, as Reyes stepped back into the shadows, respect for this cornerstone of their story took root in him. Witnessing their reunion illuminated the stark difference between their worlds. For a brief, fleeting instant, he had been stripped of the officer identity and transformed into a witness, a local, a friend. But as he contemplated slipping behind the doorframe, he heard the mother's voice tremble. "Where have you been, Sam? I've been so worried." The fragility of their connection hovered, tears mingling with whispers of regret. Reyes felt the piercing ache of their uncertainty blend with his own sense of guilt from focusing elsewhere in his life. And in that moment, he realized he too had a story to own. Just as he contemplated the weight of his decisions, his phone buzzed again, startling him out of this profound moment. Malik's desperate voice cut through the air, urging him. "Reyes, please! It's escalating over here! I can't do this alone!" The gravity of that call jolted him. He stood at a precipice, knowing the crowning task of his life was demanding his return. But here was Sam, burgeoning hope lit in his eyes, a boy caught in a defining moment. Would Reyes turn away from this urgent familial tapestry toward the cacophony waiting outside? As the draw pulled at him from both directions, Reyes faced a crucial crossroads. Could he embrace the potential change within him and work to knit these two lives together? Or would he falter and step back into the chaos that had defined his role as an officer? The thunderous rhythm of his own heart echoed in the silence. The choice lay on the tip of his tongue, but confronting it felt like stepping directly into the storm. Just as Reyes made up his mind, he caught Sam's gaze, a fragile connection shimmering with possibility. Would his choice serve to fortify that bond or dismantle it? The door swung open wider, revealing the emotional aftermath within and setting the stage for a new journey ahead. What did it mean to choose hope when facing adversity? The answer lingered palpably between them, as Reyes braced himself for the decision ahead, one that would forever alter the trajectory of all their lives. The reunion unfolded with raw emotion, wrapping into a cocoon of shared longing and relief. Reyes stood outside, feeling the shift within himself stir louder than the chaos of his phone still buzzing in his pocket. Sam was finally home, yet the excitement mingled with a heaviness. His own responsibilities called to him from outside this small sanctuary, Malik's voice echoed in his mind, each syllable laden with urgency. The turmoil beyond reminded him of all the choices that had led him here. As Sam laughed with his mother, a warmth ignited beneath the layers of his uniform. They needed him to act, to engage. Yet he watched, a voyeur in their moment of clarity. What was it about these fleeting seconds that compelled him to reconsider his own story? Reyes couldn't shake the feeling that he was chasing something. Not just in this moment, but throughout his life, veering between duty and purpose. His career, his choices. They defined him yet never truly fulfilled him. Could he truly change the narrative he had held tightly for so long? As Reyes observed Sam, he noticed how the boy's laughter infused the room with possibility. Each joyful burst drew forth memories from his own childhood that he thought he had long buried. The carefree days, running through fields, building forts, finding solace in the embrace of family. Experiences mingled with questions. Had he allowed the pressures of his job to eclipse that innocent joy? Guilt stemmed from his looming responsibilities. If he had chosen to remain anchored in his identity as an officer, the vibrancy radiating from Sam might have dulled, a reminder of the struggle present in their lives. But could the choices he made in this moment also affect others? Reyes wrestled internally, the metaphorical weight shifting like a pendulum. Was he prepared to confront his own struggles while supporting a child so desperate for connection? The thought struck him with clarity. Perhaps this wasn't just Sam's redemption. Maybe this encounter could become the catalyst for Reyes to redefine himself too. As the mother knelt down, whispering to Sam in soothing tones, Reyes realized there were layers within them both yet to unravel. They were more than singular stories. They shared wounds, hope, and yearning for connection. Would he deny them this moment simply to resume a conflict he didn't control? In a single breath he made his choice. Reyes stepped forward, the subtle pressure of his decision sending ripples through his chest. "Sam," he called softly, allowing the boy to pivot towards him. "Can I talk to you for a moment?" The sudden stillness breathed life into the room, eyes shifting. They settled upon Reyes, the boy wearing uncertainty much like he had moments before. But courage sparked within that vulnerability, and Reyes felt a powerful connection, one that could spark growth and understanding. "Sam, I know this is a lot," Reyes began, conscious of every word as he bridged the fragile bond between them. "But I want you to know, it's okay to ask for help, and to lean on someone. Family extends in ways we can't always define." The weight of his acknowledgement washed over them both. Sam's eyes widened with an understanding that perhaps bravery was not singularly about facing danger, but about allowing oneself to be vulnerable enough to trust another. For the first time in years, Reyes sensed the possibility of creating something meaningful from his own fears and doubts. His heart raced with a blend of exhilaration and anxiety. What new identity could he forge if he allowed himself to enter the chaos of shared lives rather than resist it? Before he could ponder further, his phone buzzed again. The urgency from Malik surged through him, shattering this intimate moment. Reyes felt the pull intensifying, each ring demanding his adherence to the chaos outside. But this time, a revelation dawned within him. He had the ability to engage without sacrificing his essence. He could balance the weight of responsibility and connection. What did it mean to merge duty and personal fulfillment? Reyes pondered the complexities woven into each strand of identity as he wrestled with the impending storm. If he could redefine the boundaries of his role, perhaps the true journey was just beginning. Возвращение к истории минулого теперь требовало смелости, некоторой формы отказа от старого самосознания. The moment held steady, and with each heartbeat, the tension thickened, spinning the web of his next steps closer together. Would he have the bravery to weave them into a new path, not for himself alone, but for Sam and others along the way? The weight of the choice loomed just beyond the fragile threshold, and Reyes prepared himself for the storm that would inevitably arise. As Sam turned to face him, his eyes glimmered with a mixture of confusion and trust that seized Reyes's heart. That shared look felt transformative. It was as if they both understood that a new journey was beckoning. Reyes inhaled deeply, ready to navigate the unknown paths ahead, both personal and professional. "Sam," he began, leaning closer, "sometimes life throws things our way that we're not prepared for. It's okay to feel lost, but you don't have to navigate it alone." His voice rang with sincerity, threaded through his thoughts of responsibility. The vulnerability he was asking of Sam mirrored his own. For the boy, however, this welcomed response provided a glimpse of hope. "You really think so?" Sam replied hesitantly, folding his arms across his chest, a guard against pain that he wore like armor. Reyes nodded, wishing he could offer more than mere words. "Yes, I do. It's brave to reach out. Sometimes the strongest thing we can do is show our hearts." A knowing stillness enveloped the room, heavy with the unspoken pasts both had endured. This was more than an interaction. It was a moment of potential awakening. Reyes felt a rush of purpose coursing through him, igniting a desire to embrace this unlikely partnership. He wanted to help Sam break through the isolation, just as he longed to dismantle the barriers that had locked him away from his own emotions and aspirations. Before he could lose the momentum, thoughts of Malik's demand surged again, slicing through the moment. Reyes's phone buzzed once more. This time, the urgency felt like an uninvited tempest threatening the fragile connection he had just begun to establish. Reyes considered how to navigate the dichotomy of duty and personal investment. Could he maintain a balance while responding to the call for action outside? "Sam," he said, leaning back slightly to study the boy's face. "Do you have dreams? Things that make you feel alive?" The question caught Sam off guard, but it was truly transformative. I want to be a vet someday," he stammered, uncertainty sneaking back in. "To help animals and make them feel happy." A smile broke through Reyes's seriousness, and he felt a warmth spreading through him, a flicker of the childhood wonder he thought he had lost forever. "That's incredible. Animals need people like you who care deeply. You could really make a difference." Ambitions, a vision beyond hardship. It filled Reyes with an unexpected thrill. "Really?" Sam's eyes widened with fragile excitement. "Definitely. But you know what? It takes courage to go after those dreams. Courage to reach out when you're struggling, too." He paused, knowing he was pulling Sam into the depths of emotional honesty, a lesson he himself had only recently started to learn. Sam nodded, absorbing Reyes's words, each sentence woven into a fabric of understanding, knitting together shared struggles and aspirations. Reyes felt the urgency of Malik's calls fading into the background, his mind racing with the realization that real growth was not simply the pursuit of duty, but the willingness to be present with those around him. Suddenly, a burst of laughter erupted from the living room, a stark reminder of where they truly were. A wave of melancholy washed over him, but along with it came clarity. Reyes understood now. The decision he made to engage with Sam was not just a choice, but a commitment to explore the meaningful connections that lay between the lines of their stories. "Sam," he said, the phone buzzing ominously in his pocket, "if you ever feel overwhelmed, I want you to remember this conversation. You're not alone. And if it's okay, I want to help you along the way." The boy looked speechless, teetering on the edge of disbelief and hope. Just then, a shadow crossed the doorway. Malik's presence loomed, a stark interruption that sapped the room's brightness. "Reyes, we need to go. Now." The urgency in his voice was palpable, the demands of duty reasserting themselves in just the way Reyes had dreaded. Caught between the tangible call of responsibility and the fragile budding relationship with Sam, Reyes felt the weight of his options intensifying. How could he move forward while keeping his promise, one that could further redefine both their paths? As he looked back at Sam, whose expression shifted from eagerness to worry, Reyes found himself at a crossroads. The moment was fragile, yet brimming with potential. Would he answer the call of duty, sacrificing part of himself once again? Or would he take a stand? "Sam," Reyes whispered as he turned toward Malik, his voice steady. "I'll be right back." The anxiety pooled like fire in his chest, igniting a determination that propelled him into chaos. The storm was brewing, and Reyes understood that whatever decision loomed next would shape not only his destiny, but also the possibility of forging a future for Sam. He was about to confront more than just external conflict. He was stepping deeper into the very heart of his own identity. The stakes had never felt so high. Would the pull of his responsibilities overshadow this new potential? The forces surrounding him were relentless, but for the first time, Reyes felt a readiness to wrestle with them head-on. What awaited him in the storm of outside chaos, amidst the budding promise of growth? The tension coiled around Reyes as he stepped out of the room, leaving Sam behind. The laughter and warmth faded into echoes, a stark contrast to the urgency that crackled in the air outside. Malik's insistence pulled Reyes back into the reality of their responsibilities, a world where duty often crowded out personal connection. "What's the situation?" Reyes asked, moving swiftly to catch up with Malik, who was already sliding into the driver's seat of the patrol car. Each movement felt heavy, the weight of his earlier promise binding him. Malik's eyes flicked to Reyes as he gripped the steering wheel. "We received reports of some disturbance. Could be nothing, but we need to check it out." The tone was clipped, reflecting that this was a familiar, almost mundane urgency for Malik. Reyes nodded, but his mind remained tethered to Sam's aspiring dream. He had offered the boy a lifeline, a flicker of hope amid confusion and self-doubt. Yet here he was, battling the dissonance between his responsibilities and his heart. Each siren that pierced the silence outside felt like it was mocking his determination to forge meaningful relationships. As they sped through the streets, Reyes couldn't shake the feeling that their shared moment had been too brief, too slippery. Would Sam even remember what he had said once the chaos resumed its grip? Reyes needed assurance that he wasn't allowing the boy to slip through his fingers like grains of sand. Arriving at the scene, they were met with an agitated crowd, voices raised in alarm. Reyes scanned the area, searching for the source of the commotion. The chaos began to unfurl around him, shoving the remnants of his conversation with Sam to the back of his mind, but he fought the urge to suffocate that part of himself. "Stick close," Malik instructed, his sharp gaze assessing the situation. Reyes nodded. They moved as a unit, a practiced choreography forged through prior experiences. But now, something felt off. Every instinct screamed for him to break away, to seek out Sam even in this tumult, to promise him that dreams were still possible. Even in moments like this, Reyes's heart raced as he and Malik approached the cluster of bystanders. A scuffle had already broken out, a group of youths, their anger palpable, clashing with authority. Reyes positioned himself between the brawling youths and the crowd, his grounding deeper than the badge he wore. It was a recognition of his own fractured self, the part still yearning for recognition and resolution. "Let's de-escalate," Reyes urged, his voice steady yet firm. "There's no need for this." He stepped forward, embodying the bridge he hoped to become in Sam's life. Vulnerability showed strength, he reminded himself, as he locked eyes with one of the youths. "What do you know about it?" the young man shot back, bitter resentment dripping from his voice. Reyes inhaled deeply, ready to confront the anger not just as an officer, but as someone who understood the weight of despair. "I know it's tough, and we all need someone to talk to when it gets overwhelming. Let's figure it out together." The silence that followed the statement was deafening, yet Reyes felt a shift, a crack in the facade. For a moment, he glimpsed the vulnerability that he knew resided in them, just as it lingered in Sam. "Just talk?" The youth softened, the defiance ebbing. "Yeah," Reyes replied. "Just talk." Each word felt like an offering, a moment where his purpose had redefined itself beyond the badge. As he turned his attention back to the scene, surveying the tension with clarity, Reyes realized the conversation with Sam had equipped him with a deeper understanding of the world around him, a realization that impacted both realms he was navigating. In this crisis, he had stepped closer to embodying that open vulnerability, allowing it to reshape his interaction with others. The scuffle simmered down, but Reyes couldn't ignore the surge of energy bustling within him. He had set out to be a beacon for Sam, yet he was equally discovering strength within himself. It was a profound realization. Every individual encounter contributed to his growth. As they finally subdued the situation, Reyes's mind drifted back to Sam. What was the boy doing now? Did he understand the ripple that a single moment of compassion could create? The thought ignited a fierce determination within him. Driving away from the scene, Reyes resolved that he would follow through, check on Sam, nurture their bond. He couldn't let the chaos eclipse the promise they had forged. He owed both Sam and himself that much. As they returned to the station, Reyes felt a familiar urgency rising within him. Every crisis was another chance for growth. But what consequence would arise in his pursuit to combine duty with personal investment? Would he become a more empathetic officer, or lose sight of his professional boundaries? Questions simmered beneath the surface, urging him toward an inevitable confrontation that lay ahead. Reyes knew it was time to seek out answers, both for himself and for every potential he had ignited in Sam. The conflict within him was far from over. With a storm of conflicting emotions churning inside, Reyes stepped from the car, ready to dive into the depths of his own evolving identity. What would he discover about himself in the pursuit of serving others? The dim light of the station cast long shadows as Reyes crossed the threshold, the weight of the day resettling on his shoulders. The air felt thick, charged with unvoiced concerns hanging around the desks. Reyes noticed the other officers lost in their routines, the mechanical sounds of keyboards filling the empty spaces. Yet, behind that mundane facade, he sensed deeper turbulence. Personal struggles submerged beneath their professional faces. His instincts urged him to reach out, to connect, but the pull of his earlier encounter with Sam loomed larger in his mind. A twinge of guilt gnawed at him. Had he truly provided Sam the support he craved, or had their moment evaporated under the pressure of duty? Reyes fumbled with his uniform, feeling the remnants of tension ripple through him. He needed to bridge the gap, the one between duty and personal commitment. As he sat at his desk, he sifted through paperwork, but the forms blurred into insignificance. His thoughts roamed back to the boy's strained face, that thin line between hope and despair. Reyes decided he wouldn't wait for a new exchange. Proactive engagement was needed. He would connect with Sam again, point him toward his dreams rather than allow a sense of defeat to fester. But what would he say? The burden of ensuring he didn't mislead weighed on him, forcing him to confront the reality of responsibility versus aspiration. Could he inspire Sam without compromising his role as an officer? Reyes's fingers danced across the desk, tapping out an internal rhythm as the gravity of the question strummed a chord in his chest. "Hey Reyes, you good?" Malik's voice jarred him from his contemplations. Reyes looked up, finding Malik leaning on the desk, arms crossed. "Yeah, just thinking," he replied, forcing a smile. Malik's expression shifted. "Thinking about what?" Reyes hesitated. The raw honesty that had sparked their earlier conversation clawed at him, but he could not devolve into that openness now. Instead, he tempered his thoughts. "Just the job. Feels like I'm juggling too much. Somewhere between keeping the peace and wanting to help. It's difficult." He attempted to keep his words light, but the crack of vulnerability remained evident. Malik's gaze softened. "Don't forget why you stepped into this role, Reyes. It's about more than enforcing the law. It's about connecting with people." The words resonated within him. How had he lost sight of that principle? Reyes's thoughts sifted through their conversation, recognizing that the connection he craved with Sam echoed the deeper societal bonds he needed to establish within himself. Stepping into people's lives meant more than authority. It was an invitation to be part of their narrative. As Malik walked away, Reyes resolved to take action. He would go back to that neighborhood, find Sam, and penetrate the layers of fear and uncertainty that clouded hope. But how would he convince a teenager to trust him, to embrace the possibility of dreams? Searching through his inner arsenal, Reyes knew his approach must evolve. Perhaps he could share a bit about himself, reveal vulnerabilities that ran parallel to Sam's struggles. Offering a glimpse into his own experiences might just open the door for the boy. Feeling a rush of adrenaline, he grabbed his gear and headed toward the exit, determination edging into every step. As he left, voices from the station drifted behind him, but Reyes felt insulated, enveloped by a singular focus. This mission wasn't purely about duty. It was about finding depth in the connection, enriching both his life and Sam's. Pulling up to the intersection where he last met Sam, a sense of urgency pulsed through him. The neighborhood's familiar sights sparked the realization that every interaction was a chance not only to uplift but to uncover potential in himself as well. The shadows lengthened, but nobody seemed to be around. Had he missed an opportunity? Doubt threatened to creep back in, but Reyes squared his shoulders, planting determination like a flag in the ground. Then, just as he began to question his decision, he caught sight of movement under the street lamp. A familiar figure lingered, hesitant yet hopeful. Reyes's heart surged. Had Sam found his voice after all? The time had come to face the complexity of vulnerability, both for Sam and for himself. As Reyes stepped out of the car, resolution pulsed through him. He approached Sam, the boy's features illuminated by the soft glow of the street lamp. Sam's cautious demeanor mirrored Reyes's own apprehension, but the moment brimmed with potential. "Hey, Sam," Reyes called out, grounding himself by locking eyes with the boy. Sam's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of surprise softening the tension in his shoulders. "Officer Reyes," Sam replied, the uncertainty in his tone revealing the weight of their last encounter. Taking a deep breath, Reyes chose his words carefully. "I wanted to see how you were doing. I've been thinking about our conversation." He saw the boy's guarded posture relax just a bit. Perhaps this would ignite something between them. I don't know, it's been hard," Sam admitted, vulnerability breaking through his defenses. The admission clutched at Reyes, a reminder of their shared struggles, each ladled in layers of expectation and desire. Reyes nodded, understanding resonating deeply within him. "I get it. I've had tough moments too," he confessed. "But remembering those dreams we have can help when it's overwhelming." Sam looked up, confusion mixing with the apprehension. What if they don't happen? What if it's all just too much? Reyes felt a mirror reflecting his own fears. "You know, I wanted to be a lawyer when I was your age, but life took me in a different direction. Yet here I am, doing something I never expected. And I'm learning to change my perspective every day." The boy shifted, uncertainty still draped over him, yet a flicker of hope ignited. "You think it's possible for me too?" "It's not just possible, it's worth fighting for," Reyes implored, his earnestness cascading from his heart. "You've already shown so much courage. Selling your puppy didn't come from weakness, it came from love and responsibility." Challenging Sam's perceived limitations felt transformative, both for the boy and for himself, shattering the constraints that had held him back. Sam's brow furrowed, contemplation locked in as all the pressures pushed against him. "But what if I don't know where to start?" Reyes leaned down, bringing their eyes on the same level, his conviction steady. "Start by reaching out. Find someone to talk to, like me. You don't have to navigate these feelings alone." Hope glimmered in Sam's gaze. "You really want to help?" "Absolutely," Reyes affirmed, each word anchored in a commitment that would resonate far beyond this moment. Just then, Reyes's phone buzzed with another call from Malik, but he silenced it. Duty would always pull, but this human connection was too significant to neglect. He was redefining his purpose here, not only as an officer, but as a mentor figuring out how to navigate his journey alongside Sam. "Let's take one step at a time. Your dreams deserve a chance," Reyes encouraged, motivation sparking between them like open flames in the freezing dusk. The two shared a vulnerable moment, carving out a space to breathe outside the chaos of their worlds. "I want to be a vet," Sam reiterated, self-affirmation now dancing within his voice. "Then let's make plans. I can help you explore what that means," Reyes proposed. "What courses do you need to take? We can look for programs together." Sam nodded slowly, the veil of fear beginning to lift. "Yeah, I'd like that." As they exchanged ideas, Reyes felt a surge of fulfillment light his spirit. The boy deserved every ounce of hope and opportunity, and undeniably, Reyes had found a path illuminated by their connection, a dual commitment that promised growth. In that moment, Reyes realized he was not merely an officer bearing witness to struggles. He was part of a life-changing collaboration rooted in personal transformation. His fears of inadequacy began to dissolve, replaced by a sense of purpose revitalizing him. The warmth of empathy transformed their shared exchange into a promise of fulfillment, a testament to resilience. As the temperature dropped, Reyes placed a reassuring hand on Sam's shoulder. "You're not alone. I'll be with you every step of the way. In that contact, two life stories intertwined, reshaping their destinies into something vibrant and hopeful. Sam's laughter bubbled up, a refreshing sense of possibility blossoming between them. The weight of uncertainty had been exchanged for the potential of dreams regained, crystallizing their growth. Reyes stepped back, his heart swelling with pride and recognition. Both his and Sam's journeys were written into the tapestry of support that could shelter and sustain them. They became companions on a path forward, sculpting their futures together. We'll tackle the next steps together, Reyes stressed. No rush, just take it one day at a time. As they turned to leave the street corner, Reyes felt as if he had discovered a new conviction. He had reached beyond the limits of his badge. This commitment to human connection not only afforded him a renewed sense of identity, it became the catalyst for something much larger. He had embraced being a guardian not only of the law, but of dreams, hope, and infinite possibilities. Reyes was no longer just an officer struggling against the weight of his own burdens. He was a beacon of encouragement, transforming into a figure embodying resilience and compassion. Sam's journey had illuminated his own path, and as they stepped forth into the quiet night, Reyes felt a profound sense of accomplishment rising within, balanced, enriched, and alive with purpose. This was the true victory, a complete transformation rooted in choice, understanding, and genuine support. In moments of uncertainty, we must choose to connect. Now, if this story moved you, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these heartfelt tales alive. Comment your reactions and theories about this ending. Your voice matters in this community. And please, don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support can help someone who is struggling find their own path to hope and dreams.